God bless you. This is The Walk in Wisdom with Bishop Thomas Bell of Cathedral of Praise Ministries. We're in chapter 10. This is our 10th day, and we're so happy that God gives us the instruction through the wisdom of a great writer. And these Proverbs of Solomon are definitely wisdom. He had enough wives and concubines to learn enough stuff for the ages. Some people may look at that in a strange way, but that you learn because women are very resourceful, they're very intelligent, and there are a lot of other characteristics which I dare not to share right now because it's not time. But the way that a man learns wisdom is by having a relationship with God, fearing the Lord first and foremost, and then every relationship that he has in the form of interaction, in the form of intimacy, in the form of consistency. He learns different things about different people. I'm going to ask my reader, my goddaughter Kiki, to read the first 6 verses, and then we're going to skip through a couple of the other ones in this chapter because it's very important. I thank God for Solomon going through. You can learn from someone else's mistakes. You can learn from someone else's experiences without having to go through it yourself. And oftentimes the enemy tricks us because we feel like we have to go through it in order to know it. No, learn wisdom through other people's mistakes. Learn wisdom through other people's faults and their failures, and you can save yourself a lot of heartache and a lot of trouble, and that's why wisdom is so important. Verses 1 through 6, please.
The Proverbs of Solomon. A wise child brings joy to a father. A foolish child brings grief to a mother. Tainted wealth has no lasting value, but right living can save your life. The Lord will not let the godly go hungry, but he refuses to satisfy the craving of the wicked. Lazy people are soon poor. Hard workers get rich. A wise youth harvests in the summer, but one who sleeps during harvest is a disgrace. The godly are showered with blessings. The words of the wicked conceal violent intentions.
All right. I like that first verse that talks about how a wise son, makes his father glad, but a son that is foolish brings heaviness to the heart of his mother. I can't even imagine all of the various testimonies of women if they were to share the way that their children have broken their heart, and sons that have gone down pathways that have not been of value or of substance or of advantage to sons that don't listen to fathers. I know a lot of people have to make the excuse that my daddy wasn't in my life, so how can I make him glad? Or a daughter might say the same thing. But the Bible says that when your mother and your father forsake you, the Lord will lift you up. That means he will lift someone else, elevate them into your life, give you the level of relationship and respect to be able to build the type of relationship that's necessary in order for you to be successful. In other words, he eliminates all of your excuses. Okay? Verse 4 says that he that becomes poor, that deals with a slack hand. I don't know what it is about America. Well, I know what it is. We're spoiled. And every generation wants to make it easier or lighter on the next generation, which is crazy because if you don't have a work ethic, then what you have is an expectation for people to give you everything that you want. And then when you don't get it, you whine and you complain and you moan and you shut down, you become depressed and suicidal. How are you going to become suicidal because you don't want to work and you don't want to do anything with your life, but you feel that someone's supposed to just give you what you think you deserve or that you think that you need? When I was growing up, my mother taught me differently. She says, first of all and foremost, let me help y'all. Nobody owes you anything. Not a human being on this planet. Nobody owes you anything. If you don't go and get it, you're not going to have it. Plain and simple. This generation now, because they're living home with their mama and their grandmama and their parents, because there's no, and I'm not talking about people that's in between a rock and a hard place or in between trans. I'm talking about lazy, trifling, not trying to go nowhere, not trying to do anything because you know your parents are not going to push you out of the nest, so to speak. And what you're doing, parents and grandparents, is enabling a generation that does not want to work, but wants to enjoy life and have pleasures. I was looking at some of the interesting places that we have here with them reopening rather the state of South Carolina, and people are so selfish that they want to do what they want to do, regardless of whether they jeopardize anybody else's life or not. And these are people with money, because the places that they have been keying in on, violating social distancing, violating, the governor's request, all of these things, and it's because people are selfish. I know too many people that work hard, that have great visions and dreams, and that want opportunity, but because they may not financially be in a particular place or socially not be accepted, but have all the qualifications and have all of the things that's necessary to be a viable, productive, industrious, innovative person in our society. But because of the way their lives have been just handed to them and opportunities have just been handed to them, privilege, what it does, it causes you to have a slack hand. And it's a sad thing when you don't work for what you say that you deserve. How you deserve it and you haven't put forth any effort, but just because you're born into a certain predicament or with certain privileges or with certain advantages, then you get to continue. So that ends up being wicked, because now you're insensitive to the people that actually do have needs. So watch this. Verse number 22, Kiki.
Mm-hmm. The blessing of the Lord makes a person rich, and he adds no sorrow with it.
So the blessing of the Lord does not come with sorrow added to it. It expands you, it increases you, it causes you to have abundance, but there's no strings attached, especially to sadness, especially to drama. So whenever you think that you're getting a blessing, believe me, God has already prepared you and processed you in order for you to be the recipient of that particular place and that particular thing. What, again, back to my reference point, with us giving our children everything, giving our grandchildren everything, and we think that life is like that. You think that life owes you, or people in life owe you something because your parents and your grandparents spoiled you. And then when life turns on you and tells you, no, you got to work for this. I have people that attend my ministry who are teachers, professors, and they have students that think that just because of where and the families they were born into, that they're supposed to be given something that they're not willing to work for. But once you get it, once the light bulb comes on and you're enlightened, say, hey, life is not going to treat me this way. And no matter how much you have prior to, you will find out in life that everything is not going to be given to you, and every opportunity, some things you're going to have to work for. Thank God for those who have people that have connections, that have people that look out for them, but don't expect that to be your entire life, because that's not how it works. And then when you put the work forward, the work effort and ethic forward, God will grant you with so much more that you don't have to regret, because His blessing does not make you, it's not regrettable when God blesses you. When you have earned your keep, when you have labored, the reward of a laboring person is so rich and so sweet. And that's what we want you to understand. The treasure that you have is learning what God has said concerning who you are, what you're to be, what you're supposed to be pursuing after. And once you understand that, then you labor to enter into His rest. God bless.